All right, we're gonna restore this limited edition Spider-Man PlayStation 5 controller. You can see it is pretty dirty. Look at all that. Suffering from stick drift, and it's missing the front trim right here, which I have extras. Actually, I have one sitting right here, so that'll be fine. We'll just pop on a new one. It's got really bad stick drift, and that's probably because of all this dirt. So let's go ahead and start by taking it apart. You got 4 screws. 2 of them are going to be under this first trim piece, the front trim piece. And then the other 2 screws are going to be right under the L1 and the R1. You want to be very gentle. These do have the L2 and the R2 have springs on them, so you don't want to push down too hard. But you want to just give it just enough. Get a flathead or a pry tool right under it and pop it up. Just like that. Then you have your other screw right there. There we go, we got some dog hair. It's always great. There's nothing special about these controllers. They don't really do anything that standard controllers do. They just have a different case on them. It's a limited edition. Much more expensive, but at the end of the day, the internals are pretty much the same. And so we're going to check that out now. You're going to have 2 tabs right here. Make sure not to break them. You're going to put a little bit of pressure here. And then what I like to do is use my index finger, push it up, hold it with my thumb, and then pop open the tab while applying pressure, just like that. And then while keeping that separated, you go to the other side to do the same, just like that. And then just push them apart. Just like that. So we're going to give this case a nice cleaning. There we go, look at all that. All that nastiness, man. I'm going to use some pliers here just because my fingers are a little too fat for this. But just grab on to the ribbon cable and just pull up slightly, very easily. If you pull too much, you can rip this ribbon, and it does rip very easily. Next thing we can do is remove the battery. Grab all 3 wires at the same time and just count 1, 2, 3 and give it a nice little pull. There we go. You have 1 screw right there. This is going to be the battery cradle. Set that to the side. Sometimes they're different, so you just want to double check. This one, they all use the same size. Now with that ribbon cable off, this whole thing comes apart. Now this one here, you could just grab with your fingers. Again, just gently pull it up. And just leave it to the side. Same thing for this one here. You can grab on the blue tab. Or just grab the whole ribbon cable. And just pull them out like that. Same thing up here. If it's not coming out for you, grab your needle nose and just gently pull it out. I keep saying gently because if you do pull it out too fast, or if you're not careful while you're doing that, they can rip if you slip your finger or something like that. Alright, so we're going to be upgrading the sticks on here. So what I'm going to do, if you're just going to clean it and you're going to try to fix it, you could just stop at this point. You could just set it like that and start working on it. But if I get this far, I'm gonna do the whole job. I'm not gonna half it. So these are trash. So look at all that. I don't know if you guys can see that. All that hair and just trash all around this thing. That's what's causing your stick drift. So controller was this way, it was this stick that was drifting really bad. And look at all that hair that's around it. It's just completely covered in like lint, hair, dirt, all sorts of stuff. So since I'm gonna be upgrading these to TMR, I'm gonna desolder these wires here so that I can work on the board all together. Nice and easy. Get the board off. I'm gonna take the speaker off here. It's just kind of sticky on. Just place that back in there so we don't lose it. Now we can set this to the side for cleaning. Since I have my soldering irons going right now, we're gonna finish this. And then we'll do the cleaning after. Add a little bit of flux. And then we're gonna add a little bit of leaded solder. Turn down the heat on this thing, it's a little too high. I got this one set, should be ready to go now. There's the first stick. There's the second stick. So now I'm done with that one. I can turn it off and I'm gonna start cleaning. Those are gonna be trash, but I am gonna keep the bodies. I like to keep the bodies for parts. Honestly, the part that takes the most time with doing any of these jobs is cleaning. The cleaning is the worst. It's not doing the sticks, it's not the soldering or desoldering. It's honestly the easiest part. If I didn't have to clean any of this, like, probably be a lot easier on like a brand new controller. I'd probably have it in and out less than 30 minutes. I'd have this thing done. But like, see, I'm already halfway done with the job, but I still have to take that controller apart and clean the whole thing because of how bad it was. Spider-Man edition uses the BDM 030 on this one. That might vary, but on this one, that's what it is. So now what I need to do is desolder all the holes, clean it up. First one is done. Now I just gotta do that one. Okay, now it's ready for the new sticks. We just got some basic standard KS TMR. I've had good luck with these ones. Haven't had any issues, so I like using them. You always want to test them and inspect them before you install. Make sure that they're centered. And then make sure that all the pins are, for the most part, straight. You don't want to scratch the board or damage the board as you're entering it. What I like to do is to get it in. Make sure that it's flush on both these sides here, where the potentiometers are. Because you don't want to put pressure on this corner, because if you put pressure on this corner, it's going to tilt that way, and it's not going to be flush. So you want to apply a little bit of pressure here and make sure that it's flush here, and then hold it there. And then on the back side, take these two little pins and just gently bend them against the board so that it doesn't move. Just like that. It's very important that you do it on that corner so that it stays on that corner. And then just set this up really quickly. So now that those are soldered on, I'm just going to bend the legs back straight. And even though I'm bending them, it's not enough to do anything. They're still for the most part straight. It's just, they're just bent just enough to just to put a little bit of pressure on there. Okay, finished that right about the same time that my soldering iron tip wanted to quit on me. So it's time for a new one on one of those. That's all right, because it's finished. I was able to get that last little bit on there before it started falling apart on me. So now we're going to clean this up a bit. Okay, and the board's done. That's the finished product. Okay, now before we put this back in, we're going to give the controller a deep cleaning. So I'm going to take it all apart. Remember, we already had the back off. So now what we're going to do to remove the rest is, where is it at? You have this screw here and this screw here. I think these are just for the housing itself. I don't think that you need to remove that one. So we'll see right now. All the controllers are different. So it just depends on what model you have. Some of them have screws right here, right next to the touchpad. Okay, yeah, so on this one you have to remove all 4. Some of them there's just 2. Okay, once you have those 4 screws out, then this should just pop right out, just like that. That's your conductive film. We're going to get this cleaned up, and then we're going to get everything in this taken out. This part I usually just like to leave it the way that it is, and I'll take a Q-tip and I'll just clean around the analog sticks here. I'll clean the pad, clean this one, clean off all of this, and then lightly clean on top of the buttons and clean all around. But this part I usually just leave it the way that it is. Like that. This part you can disassemble. You just pull these out. There's your buttons, and then your pad. There we go. Yeah, so you just have to kind of get under it on the back side right here and just put a little bit of pressure and just hold the controller, make sure that it doesn't break, and then it just pops out like that. This here, I'm just going to go around the edges with a Q-tip and a little pick, and we'll just clean it out. Same thing for the buttons here, and those just come out. These are going to pop out as well. These are options and your share button. And if you're wondering how they go in, it's the fat side is on the lower side. I believe they only go in one way anyways, so they'll go in just like that. So take that out. And then your PS button, that just comes out. PS button drops out. This part I'm going to leave in. That is for the microphone. I'm going to leave that the way that it is. Since I am going to run this underwater, I'm going to take the microphone out. I'm going to use a little pick tool here. And just carefully get under it. You want to be extremely careful with these because they do rip very easily. There we go. And then you want to feed it through, but kind of in a way that it just falls in itself. Don't want to pull on it. Don't put any tension on it. There we go. All right. So now this and this can be ran underwater. It's just the shell. No electronics in it. And then all these pieces can also be scrubbed underwater. These you want to be careful with so you don't rip them. The microphone sits aside. This sits aside. And this can be cleaned underwater as well. Okay, we got everything cleaned up. Look at that. It's a beauty. We got that cleaned. We got the buttons cleaned. We got this part cleaned. Look at those buttons. We got the touchpad cleaned. No more gunk and grime all over it. We got the bottom case cleaned. Remember what those look like. And we got all the little buttons cleaned. So let's start getting it put back together. Make sure there's no water left on anything. And the buttons, you gotta hit the buttons down a little bit like that. Okay. So now we can start with reassembly. If you're using Q-tips like these, like the cheap ones, you got to make sure that there's no lint getting left behind, because even a little piece of lint right next to one of these the button pads, will stop a button from working. So now, first things first, doesn't matter what order you do it in. I like to start with the pad, just because then you kind of go to the buttons, and then from the buttons you go out to those ones. So we're just going to place this back in. Then you'll just hear it click into place. Just like that. Here we go. And then it'll have 2 circles on it. Those just go around the screw holes right here. Then I like to do the option and share button next. Pop those in, just like that. Then your directional pad. It's gonna have the tab on the bottom right there, just like that. These are both the same. Some controllers are different, so you need to make sure. On this one, they are the same, so it doesn't matter which one goes where. Actually, you know what? No, it does matter. This is for the your buttons, and then that one's gonna be for your directional pad. So square is going to be on the inside, and they only go in one way. Triangles up top. X is down below. Oops, wrong way. There we go. And circles on the outside. Like that. Okay, so it should look like that. Now I'm going to put the PS button back in. Then you have the pad. There is 2 little posts that the rubber grommet has to go into. Right there. There we go. Okay. So now with all that done, we can go ahead and put the body back in. And then you want to be careful not to force it. It should just slide right back in. Make sure everything's good. There we go. Now we can put our screws back in. Do not over tighten any of these. Just once it's snug, stop. Especially when you're working on a limited edition controller, because the whole point of this thing being a limited edition is the shell itself. So if you strip one of these, you're pretty much SOL. Now that I have all that on there, I am going to put the board back in. We're going to get some new thumbsticks. No point in doing all that work and reusing the old dirty ones. They're kind of a pain to put back on sometimes. It's a little too tight. Okay, don't forget your speaker. If you forget which way it goes in, the two prongs right here that you see right there, those are going to be touching these. So you want to just look at the board and face it like that and then place it back in. Pull all your cables, make sure that they are above the board. There we go. We still need to put our microphone back in, don't forget about that, but just gonna get that seated in there. Go ahead and reattach all your cables. It doesn't actually matter. I would recommend doing the soldering first, but I'm already doing it, so. Got those two back in. Top one. There we go. So now while I'm soldering, I'm just gonna gently put this screw back in that holds the board. I'm not gonna crank down on it or tighten it. I'm just gonna seat it on there just like that. So then that way what happens is when I set this down to do the soldering, the joysticks will push up on the board and it'll kind of mess everything up. So it's going to go yellow, green, black, and red. So I just like to bend these just a little bit so they have kind of a 90 to them. Get it right on top of the pad and just touch it. Same thing for the green. And then it's going to be black and then red. Red is going to be the last one. All right. So we got the wires back on. That's good. Take the screw out so we can put our battery back in. And you want to make sure that the wires go under this cradle bracket right here. Put your screw back in. And then your battery. Wires are just going to tuck right under there, and that's that. So here's the fun part, is getting this guy back in. So it's going to be like that. So what I like to do is just fish this side in first. Take your time, be patient with it. There we go. And then that hole is going to loop around that tab right there. And then on this side, this end of the flap is going to go into the controller. So I just like to bend it a little bit and slide it back in, just like that. These things are just so small, man. Doesn't take a lot of force to get them back in, so if you are having to force it, then there's something wrong. Back it out and try it again. Okay, there we go. Let's make sure we got everything back together. All the ribbon cables are connected. Those are connected. That's all done. Okay, now we can get the backing on. Start from the top, set that down, let it set in its home right there. Just like that. And then just gently press on different edges. And then once everything clicks back together, you're all done with that. Touchpad is nice. All the buttons are pressing nice. Those tabs are in, so now we can screw it back together. Your buttons, see this? These two tabs right here are just going to slide into that channel. And as long as you do that correctly, it'll just press right back into place. Just like that. Then you're going to take your front trim. These two pointing tabs are going to go into these little holes. Just like that. Now what I like to do is get my thumbs right here and just kind of push it down and in. Actually, I just saw some dirt right there, so I'm going to get that cleaned up. Take it back out. Just clicks back into place. That's the final click, and then that's it. So now we're going to get it calibrated, and that is Spider-Man Limited Edition PS5 controller that has now been saved. Thanks for watching, guys.